Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Lone Star channel. Today we're talking about Dalvin Cook. He's just been released from the Jets and why the Cowboys should pick him up before this playoff run. Now, the reason for us picking up Dalvin Cook is pretty simple. Obviously, Tony Pollard has taken a decline back after being injured, but he does need a little help. Last year when he was coupled with Zeke, he did average more yards with less carries and did average more per yard with 5.2. This year he's running at about 4-point average. And he also did have 9 touchdowns last year instead of 5 that he has this year. And his longest run is actually longer. So I feel like Tony Pollard overall does play better with a split back type of role. I feel like he's much better as a 2. And people forget he was a wide receiver coming out of college. As far as running the ball, multiple carries, is this something that you want Tony Pollard to do even if he was healthy? You don't want him carrying the ball, toting that rock for so long. Now, as far as receiving and rushing, his stats are both better on average compared to from last year to this year. He's better suited as a number 2, and I feel like Dalvin Cook would fit that mold perfectly. You talk about, McCarthy's system with the West Coast, a lot of catching out of the backfield. I feel like Dalvin Cook would add such a great dynamic. People say he's pretty bad and he's washed, but if you look at his numbers, his usage is gone way down. Now in 2022, Dalvin Cook had 1,173 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry. This year he's only had 67 carries with only 214 rushing yards, averaging 3.2 a carry. I think Dalvin Cook can bring a lot to this offense, especially when you see Rico Dowdle, more of the number 2 on our team, that doesn't get enough tick as he should. He should be getting more carries, but he's also a guy that does get banged up a lot. So for this, Dalvin Cook obviously isn't trying to get a long-term deal done. He's obviously just trying to get on a playoff team so he can ring chase a little bit and see if he can get a Super Bowl ring this year. It seems like an easy sign for the Cowboys. Not only is Pollard better in splitting carries, but he's also more efficient. And not only that, but Pollard and Cook would both be fresh since they're splitting carries. But this should fit Mike McCarthy's scheme perfectly with catching the rock out the backfield. But I think as it stands, I think this is one of the best potential signings that the Cowboys do have this year. He doesn't have a lot of gambling power since he hasn't had a good outing at the Jets. So I feel like you can get him for a cheap relative deal right before the playoffs to get a good playoff push. Tony Pollard and Dalvin Cook out the backfield and through the passing game and through the run game should be a very good step up. And also Tony Pollard's coming off one of his worst games, honestly. But that could also have to do with the run blocking as well. You can't blame him for too much of that. I feel like Dalvin Cook is one of the best signings that they could possibly make before this playoff push this season. If you do look at Dalvin Cook's usage from 2019 through 2022, he's been an 1,000-yard rusher every year. This is the only year that he's ever averaged three yards a carry. Every other year, even when he's came into the league, he's always averaged over 4 yards rushing. Him coming to the Cowboys could be beneficial to him to advertise himself to other teams coming up next year to see what juice he got coming into the playoffs. This player and this team could come together perfectly and make this happen. He shouldn't be asking for a lot. Cowboys don't really dabble in, giving people too much money. So this should be a layup for the Cowboys here, and I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. Now, y'all might be saying, the Cowboys never sign people. The Cowboys never are in these fruits of labor. They're never going to just get these easy layup buttons. Jerry's always trying to lowball people, blah, blah, blah. Y'all might say, oh, Dalvin Cook won't sign with the Cowboys. Jerry Jones would never sign Dalvin Cook. Something so easy, something so cheap. He's going to try to lowball Dalvin Cook even more. But like I say, if you love the star, believe in the star. Peace.